Alright guys, Gabe here, No Clue Garage. Thanks for coming back. And I know it's been a while since you guys have seen my ugly face grace YouTube. And we'll get into that stuff here in a little bit. But we've got something that we need to take care of. I started driving the bug as much as I could, you know, to the store, here and there, took the kids for ice cream, stuff like that. The other day, me and the kids, we went for a little cruise. Went to a place. On the way there, everything was fine. We got back in the car and I instantly noticed something was weird with the brakes. They felt weird. This place was about 1.5 miles from our house. By the time I made it home, I had no brakes. I had the park brake, but nothing on the brake pedal. I put all new brake system on this car when I first started working on it. But you have to remember, I first started working on this car about 9 years ago. Is it about 9 years ago? 8 years ago. 8 years ago. My father-in-law gave me this car right before he passed away. And I put all new master cylinder, rubber lines, wheel cylinders, all that stuff on there. And then it went and sat in a barn. Sat in a barn for about 8 years. I got it back, everything was good. I just had to adjust the brakes. I did put new rear drums on the back. But I bet that master cylinder went out just sitting there, you know. Again, I have no clue. The way it's acting, pedal goes to the floor, nothing. Once you get to the very last, maybe 1/4 inch, you can feel it grab just a little bit. Going down the road, coming to a stop, it won't stop you. But in the driveway, if I put it in neutral and just let it roll, it'll stop you. But going down the road, no, there's no brakes. So I just jumped on the old Amazon, and we got this, and it's got to go in there. Last time I did this was when I had this car completely torn apart and there was no gas tank in the front, so it was a lot easier to do than it is now, because you could just reach through the hole in the front. I believe there's about a 1/4 tank, maybe a little less than a 1/4 tank of gas in this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that gas tank again, instead of laying on my back trying to change this out, bleed it, all that other crap. I'm just gonna take that gas tank out. So I'm gonna get some tools together, get some stuff together, and bring you guys along with me. Now, one thing I do want to say is, like the name of the channel, I have no clue. I'm just going off of like some past experiences that I've done on other cars and other stuff. I just put that stuff together, and I watch YouTube a lot. So I have no clue, so I am no expert. So if you're gonna follow along what I do, you're doing it at your own risk. I'm not responsible if you tear your stuff up. I'm responsible if I tear mine. That's my own fault. So remember, if you guys follow along, it's your own fault if you break it. All right, let me get some stuff, then we'll get to work. All right, so I got some tools and stuff together. Let me give you guys a breakdown of what I'm gonna do here. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna see. There's the gas tank. The 67, once you take this out, there's gonna be a big hole right there that you can reach right down and work on stuff. I've had it out before because I cleaned it out when I first got the car, and that's how I changed the master cylinder last time. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and go in here and zip these bolts and clamps out. I guess it would help if you guys could see what the heck I was doing, huh? Oh, wrong way. There we go. Let's zip these bolts. And I dropped one. There's only 4. Oh, it is hot out here today. It's not really that hot, it's humid. Good old Oklahoma August humidity. And I'll talk more about that here in a little while. Has a lot to do with why I haven't been around for a while, but anyway, that's for another time. So once we got that out of the way, washer fluid. I don't even know how. I guess, do I push the wiper button to make the washer fluid work? I have no idea, but I'm gonna go ahead and this hose, or yeah, don't even work because it's all collapsed and broke. Lays across the top, so we're just gonna take this out. You can tell how long that's been in there. All right, this is your fuel gauge. On the 67, it uses a manual fuel gauge. And I should have brought me a flat, oh, I did bring a flat tip. Your fuel gauge on a 67 is manual. There's no electronics. It pulls this cable when the float goes up and down. It just pulls this cable to change the gauge up on the dash. So you take that out of the cap, just pops off. Take that out, kind of like a little ball and socket. Once that's out of the way, get that out of the way, throw this up here so you're not going to lose it. So when I put that gas tank in last time, I think I put the fuel line from where it comes out of the bottom of the fuel tank to where it goes. It's only like 4 inches, but I think I put like a foot of fuel line on there just for this reason. I think I did that so I could hook it up before I drop the tank in. And like I said, I believe this tank has like a 1/4 tank of gas in it. So I'm gonna try to pick that tank up, clamp it off with a pair of vice grips and undo the line so that I can get it set up out of the way. I really don't want to drain it. I don't really have anything to drain it in, or a little pump, handheld pump or anything. Let me do that because I can't do that one-handed. And I don't have anybody to hold the camera for me right now. So let me do that real quick. And I'll either bring you back with the tank out and everything's good, or I'll bring you back covered in gas. We'll see. Nobody light a smoke, that's all I can say. Okay, so that went a lot easier than I expected. Fuel tank's out. I was able to clamp the hose, pull the rubber line off of the hard line that goes through the tunnel, and got the tank out. I did discover one thing though. Here's my setup. As you can see, there's about a foot of line there when it only needs to go from like here to here. I added all that so that I could still pick up the tank. But when I picked it up, I noticed that this right here was already wet and seeping. So I don't know if I've got a bad end on this hose. This is all new stuff I put on, but again, that was not 8-9 years ago. So I might need to find a new piece of hose, or maybe just cut the end of this back. I don't know, we'll see. But the reason I did that, as you can see now, there's the master cylinder. Now it is extremely easy to get to and work on. So much easier doing it this way. Don't mind all the grease and goop. And hey, I've got a new steering stabilizer. I might put that in while I'm here. Be a lot easier to do now. See the new tie rod in that I put in. But yeah. So what we got to do is we got to get that out of there. And then bench bleed the new one, which is gonna suck because the reservoir is way up here. It's gonna be hard to bleed without having a reservoir on it to bench bleed. So I might install it and then bleed it down here just using the pedal and this reservoir. But that's gonna be for another time. Today I'm just gonna worry about getting this out because I didn't even go and get brake fluid. I'm gonna go get some I got some PB Blaster and spray on those fittings. They don't look bad. Like I said, it's only been in there about 8 or 9 years only. And then we'll see if we can't break those brake lines free. And then see where we go from there. I'll check my brake fluid, but I don't think I have enough to bleed and all that other stuff. So let me go get that stuff and I'll bring you guys back when there's some progress. Alright, so I almost got this whole thing all disconnected, but one thing I wanted to show you, I did get lucky. Like I said, it's been in there for a while, but you know, not like if you were pulling this thing out of a field. I got lucky and all my brake lines came loose. But one thing that you're going to run across if you're working on old ones, one, always use a tube wrench on these. You do not want to round them off, and they will round off if they're rusty. But the other thing you're going to run into is where this nut fuses to this line. And if you start turning this nut and that line is, you know, in here turning with it inside the nut, you're going to eventually twist this line and have to replace the whole dang thing. You don't want to do that. So lots of lube, giggity, PB Blaster, stuff like that. And then a lot of times you're just going to have to put some heat. If you'll heat this nut up, hit it with a little bit of lube, put your wrench on there and work it back and forth. It'll eventually start turning a little bit, and then you get a little more and a little more. But you do not want to just keep twisting it if this line is stuck in there. If you turn this nut and this line moves with it, that is stuck, and you're gonna regret it. You're gonna have a bad time. Isn't that what they say? But luckily for me, like I said, these all come right out. So the next thing I'm gonna do, well, once I get this screwed out of here, yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna unhook the wires for the brake light switches, and I'll just take those off and put them on the new master once I got it out. But then on the inside, you've got 2 bolts here. I believe they're like a 13 socket to get those. But let me tell you, when you take these off, do not pull those bolts out. Let the bolts stay in the hole. Take the master cylinder off this side. The reason is that this firewall is double walled. There's a gap in there, yay big or so, and there is a spacer that goes on those bolts to keep from crushing that firewall. If you pull those bolts out, you're gonna have to get a magnet and fish down in that hole, and hopefully you can get them back out. If not, you're gonna have to order new ones. So you just leave those bolts in there sticking through so it holds those spacers. Pull the master off this side. When you go to put your new one, have somebody hold it up in here and run those bolts in. But do not pull that bolt completely out the other side. I watched videos on how to do that, and when I changed the last one, I still did that and forgot on one of them. Luckily, I was able to get a magnet and fish that spacer out of there. But if you don't put that spacer back in there and you go to tighten that bolt, there's a gap in there like yay big. All it's gonna do is squeeze that metal together. You'll never get that master cylinder tight. Every time you hit your brakes, it's gonna get loose, and then it's gonna eventually rip that metal. Don't wanna do that. So now that I've got that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull those wires, get inside, pull those bolts, get that master cylinder out of there, and see how much more we're gonna get done today. Oh, guys, it's hot in this car. It's been sitting out in the sun baking all day, as you can see by my face. Whew. I don't know if it's tears or sweat, but man, it's a hot one. But let me show you what we're doing in here and elaborate a little more on what I was talking about on those spacers. All right, so let's get down there in the, what do they call it, the bowels of the ship here. There's 2 bolts here, this one and the one I got the wrench on. That's what holds your master cylinder in. So what I'm gonna do is, luckily, thank God for ratcheting wrenches. These things are nice. But I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna ratchet these out, and I'm gonna go back and forth a little at a time so that I am not gonna pull the bolt out. In other words, it's gonna force the master cylinder to the other side. Once I get those off, I will show you, if I can get in there, show you that gap that I'm talking about, because you do not want to do that. You'll have a bad time. You'll be replacing that metal in there because it will get loose and rip it out. All right, guys. Why do I say that all the time? Come on. All right, guys. All right, guys. I sound like a, I don't know, but I sound funky. I need to come up with something new. And we're back. No, I ain't gonna be like that. I don't like those overly produced shows. When I watch stuff on YouTube, I like to watch something that's informative and entertaining. I know I'm neither. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get there, but you know, we'll see. I've been watching a lot of YouTube here lately, these summer months with this heat. Sitting inside, I watch a lot of, really like Puddin's Fab Shop. He seems like a pretty cool dude. And he's only about, hour and a half away from me. Maybe one day if I do get really big into this YouTube stuff, we can do something, hook up, work on some stuff. I don't know, but I watch him. Of course, I watch Mordski. Junkyard Digs. I've been really watching a lot of their stuff. Oh, Kevin and Angus up there. Who are they? Iowa, I believe. They do some pretty cool stuff. I've been watching a lot of them. Let's see who else. I'm just blabbing here. I'm hot and I'm just trying to catch my breath. Daily Driven Death Traps. I've watched a few of their stuff. They're all right. Here lately, I've been watching a lot of Pole Barn Garage, Old Dalton. I ain't gonna lie. First, I was like, man, this dude's a hack. Self-tapper screws here, there. The more I start getting back into this, the more I realize he's doing what he's got to do to get stuff done. And, if you don't like it or not, if you think it's a hack, he's getting it done. one thing that they always say is, you know, if you wait to get everything perfect, you're never going to be able to enjoy your rides. So, you know, I've been watching a lot of stuff of his here lately, and he really knows his stuff. So I'm gonna quit yapping. I did get that master cylinder out, and I'm gonna show you now, because you can see really good on this side what I'm talking about. Let me zoom in for you guys here. That is where the master cylinder goes. And you see that space in there? That is a good, at least an inch of space. Now on both of those bolts on each side, there is a metal spacer in there, so that when you tighten up that master cylinder, you're tightening up against the master cylinder and that spacer. If that spacer is not on that bolt, you're just gonna collapse those two pieces of metal together. Like I said, it'll feel like it's tight at first, and then you step on it a couple times and it's gonna loosen up. And then again, over and over, you'll tighten it up, and what you're doing is you're just collapsing those two walls. You collapse it out, you're gonna end up having to cut that whole section out and replace it. That doesn't sound like fun. So I learned that by watching YouTube. I learn a lot of the stuff that I do by watching YouTube. I am nowhere near a master of anything. Of course, like the channel says, I have no clue. I really don't. But one way that I have always learned is to just jump in and do something. If you're not quite sure, take it apart and look. You know, especially if it's broke. That's one thing I've always said, you know, if it's broke, what's the worst that can happen? It's still broke. Take it apart and see if you can figure out how it goes together, how you can fix it probably, you know. If you do get it apart and you can't figure it out, YouTube it, man. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube. You can learn a lot. So what I'm gonna do, I've got this all out. I've got the old master cylinder just sitting in the trash can over there on a rag, dripping. I've got to get those brake light switches off of it. Those should come out fairly easy. It's a big old socket. Like I said, this stuff hasn't been in there that long. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go grab my wallet. I'm gonna jump in another car and go to hardware store and grab some brake fluid. And then I'm gonna have to bench bleed this. Now that I get to look at it, I don't want to deal with it in the car. There was out of all the videos that I saw, they're like, yeah, you bench bleed it like this, and they have a reservoir right on top. The 67, these older what am I driving? VW Bugs, Beetles. The reservoir's remote located, way up top, screwed onto the body somewhere underneath the hood. The bonnet, sorry. I forget this is a German car, Europeans. But all the videos I watched, they had the newer style with the reservoir right on top, where, you know, it's easy, you can run the hoses back through and sit there and bench bleed it, no problem. Well, without the reservoir on there, how the heck are you supposed to do that? And I'm not going to take all those hoses and stuff out just to bench bleed this thing. So I've seen one video on this on YouTube, and this is the way I bench bled this thing 8-9 years ago. And I'm going to do it again this time. So I'm going to go get some brake fluid, and I will show you guys how to do it. Some people say, oh, you can't do it that way. I did it, and this thing, you know, yeah, I know it's 9 years and I'm replacing it, but it worked. It worked for what it was. And honestly, if it doesn't work, master cylinder for this car was $30. Heck, I even had a coupon on Amazon, so it cost me like $25. If it don't work, we'll get another one. So I'm gonna go get some brake fluid, cool off a bit. I'll be back. Well guys, it's the next day. Hope you can hear me. I've got my monster fan going back there because it's hot here in Oklahoma still. But had to cut things short yesterday. Wife had some plans that I had forgot about, so I had to go inside and feed the kids, and, you know, family stuff. But I figured, I've been hitting at it, let's just take a little talk of, you know, why I haven't been on here for a while. You know, I'm not one to really talk a lot about my issues and stuff, but I do have some health issues. Nothing major. But these health issues make me have to take some medication. And this medication that I'm on, they keep changing it up. You guys know how insurance companies are. They'll cover some stuff one time and nothing, you know, won't cover it the next month. So these new medications they've got me on really has killed my tolerance for heat. To the point where if I'm outside more than 10-15 minutes and I'm moving, doing anything, standing up, sitting down, bending down, I get dizzy, really dizzy. I don't want to fall. That's happened before. It sucks. I'm a big guy. It hurts when you hit the ground. I'm good, you know, no need to worry. I'm not asking for anybody's pity or anything. I just want to explain to you guys why, you know, I haven't done a video in a couple of months. It's gotten hot here. So one good thing about this medicine I'm on is I'm losing a lot of weight. So part of losing that weight is also going to get me off of some of the other medications. I got a fly that won't leave me alone. But yeah, that's the main reason why, you know, I really want to get out here. I really want to work on stuff. I've got all this ambition of working on these cars. I've still got the boys truck. I've still got a John Deere lawnmower back there half torn apart that I need to get working on. But it's just been so hot, you know. It's here in Oklahoma, we get, you know, upper 90s with the humidity, heat indexes of 105 to 110. And then I'm in my garage. Sometimes even with that big fan going, it's like a sauna in here, and I just do not feel good when I do it. It's getting better. It's starting to cool off that time of the year, so I'm going to get back into it. And I'm doing my best to keep my health stuff regulated. But again, you know, this ain't no pity. I don't need anybody's, you know, feel sorry for me or anything like that. These are my issues, mine alone, and I'll deal with them. But you know, I did have a couple of people, especially over on TikTok, say, hey, we hadn't seen you in a while. So I just wanted to give a quick explanation of why. But let's get back to work. One of the reasons why I'm in a rush, I wanted to get that master cylinder put back in yesterday. But the main reason is I got word 2 days ago, there's a car show in town Saturday night. So I want to try to get this going. So, you know, you can take the bug over there and just hang out with some like-minded people, car community, for a little bit. It's only a couple hours long. It's going to benefit a coach that's battling cancer, so, you know, it's a good cause. So I'm going to try to get that. The wife might even take hers, but that's why I'm trying to get this done. Again, you know, like I said in my previous videos, me and this fly are going to fight. But like I said before, you know, I do have a full-time job. So, you know, working in the evenings. Tomorrow is Friday. Car show Saturday. Tomorrow I have to work late. I probably won't get home till like 9 o'clock in the evening. So, you know, kind of limited on time. So I want to hurry up and get this done so I can get things ready to go for that. So I'm going to get things together, and we're going to proceed on bleeding this master cylinder. Like not like I told you guys, because I cut off yesterday. If you get online, YouTube, whatever, there's many videos telling you how to bench bleed a master cylinder, and they work. But my main issue is all of those and the master cylinders I've done in the past all have a reservoir. See, just like that, just sitting up out of that chair, I get a little woozy, but we'll work through it. But like those, they all have a reservoir at top where you put the fluid in, you run your hoses back into the reservoir, pump it, this and that. These don't. The reservoir on this is about 2 foot away from this, and it's got hoses and metal lines and all that stuff that I'm not going to take all that out of the car just to hook it up here to try to bench bleed this. So I saw one video on this on YouTube, and I watched it like 8 years ago when I first did this, and that's how I bench bled it. Now, a lot of people said, weird hair hanging there. A lot of people say, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to, be good for the master cylinder. It's going to rust. It's going to do all this and that. The last one worked. Yeah, I didn't have any rust issues or anything like that. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Don't mind my messy shop. I need to get it clean too. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this master cylinder. As you can see, these ports up top are for the dual reservoirs. There's the reservoir is broke into 2 sections, and then the upper port, well, the bottom ports are for the brake light switches. The 2 upper ports, one is for front, one is for the back, and then the other one is for the other side in the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this cup. We're going to put this master cylinder in here. As you can see, that is below the level. So what we want to do is we want to fill this cup full of brake fluid until it covers that. Once it's covering that, we're going to sit there and we're going to pump this master cylinder back and forth until we don't see any more bubbles come back up. And then in turn, once we pull it out, we'll cap off the ports until I can get everything hooked up. And then it should be bench bled good enough that we can get it on the car and then just continue to bleed the brakes and be done with it. So the only problem with this is it's going to make a mess. Don't wear any clothes that you don't want to get brake fluid on. You're going to get brake fluid all over the place. But, you know, let me get this set up, and then I'll bring you back and show you kind of how you go about actuating the cylinder to get it bled. All right, so I've got, as you can see, this cup is plumb full. It's the biggest one I had. I've seen a lot of people, they'll just take one of these big tubs of brake fluid and just cut the whole top off and set it down in there. I didn't want to do that because most of this is brand new brake fluid I'm going to put back in there. But as you can see, I don't know if you saw or not, you see the bubbles coming out of that? That's the air that is trapped into the system. And we need to get all that air, or at least as much as we can, out. So what we're going to do, as you can see, it's above both inputs and all the outputs. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a regular old screwdriver, just right down in here. This is where your brake rod from your pedal will go. And I'm going to have to switch hands here. And we're just going to, oh, that thing is tough. I'm going to spill this everywhere. Let me set this up a little better and I'll bring you back. All right, so this master cylinder has a lot of pressure on the internal springs. So this is going to look a little funny, but this is how I'm having to do it so that I don't mess up and accidentally dump this whole bucket. But as you can see right here, I'm just going to force down. And as you can see, hopefully, there's bubbles coming out of that. What we're going to do is we're going to sit here and do this over and over until we see no more bubbles. Also, what we're going to do is, so you can see that's all the way up. After we've done a few full strokes on it, we're going to go here and we're just going to do like the first ½ inch. Just back and forth. Do you see there was a big bubble come out of that? There was another one. And then go all the way to the bottom and do the bottom ½ inch. Look at that. That's all that air that we need to get out of there. Ooh, that's a lot. So I'm going to continue to do this for probably 5 to 10 minutes until I'm sure that I've got everything that I need to out of there. Well, the master cylinder's in, and I will tell you, this is a 2-person job unless you're just lucky. Yeah, unless you're just lucky. Let me show you what I did. So I lined the master cylinder up there. You remember, we can't take those bolts out. They need to stay in there. But I lined it up. I used this, oh, you can't even see. Use this mini tape measure to kind of hold the front end up so that it's kind of level. Kind of lined the bolts up and then got inside and slowly turned the bolts until they caught thread. Once they caught thread, you were good to go. It would be a lot easier with 2 people. But it's just me right now. My boy's just getting off the school bus, so probably have him help me bleed the brakes in a little bit, but you can do it. Just, you know, always use your brain, think of other ways to do stuff. So got it going, get the lines hooked up after I say hi to the boy. He's coming up. What's up, dude? His first year at middle school, so how was school?
Good.
Good? Did you do anything fun?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Not my fire drill.
Fire drill? Oh, those are always fun. Cool. Well, go inside, put your stuff up. I'll walk with you to go get your sisters.
Okay.
When we come back, after a while, I'm going to have you help me bleed the brakes. It's a very hard job for you to do. Guess what you got to do?
Press the brakes.
Press the brakes and hold it when I tell you to.
Okay.
All right? We'll probably do that maybe once it starts cooling off a little bit because I got to lay on the ground.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm going to go talk with the boy. We're going to go get the girls. They get off the bus here in about 20 minutes. We got to walk about 3 blocks to go get them. And we're going to get back on this. All right, so brakes are bled. That is a job. Find you somebody else to help you. I got my boy out here. All he's got to do is pump and hold the pedal. But that is kind of hard to do by yourself. I do have one of those little handheld vacuum pump things that, you know, say you change the whole brake line. It's great for sucking all that fluid back. But you still need to manually bleed. There's just, you'll never get a pedal that feels right. Speaking of which, I still haven't tried this pedal. Oh yeah, we got brakes now. Good brakes now. Also, while I was down there, I adjusted the brakes. If you know Volkswagens, you know that they don't have automatic brake adjusters. So whereas like newer cars with drum brakes, gosh, probably from the 70s, maybe the 70s up, mid 70s. They've got automatic adjusters. So anytime you're reversing and you hit the brake, that'll put a little tension and it'll turn that little star wheel like one click at a time, and it keeps your wheels adjusted. If it doesn't need adjusted, it just jumps over it. Volkswagens don't have that. In fact, they say was it every, I think it was like 3,000 miles or whatever, change your oil, adjust your valves, and adjust your brakes. So did a brake adjustment. I haven't done that since we got it back on the road beginning of the year, so it needed it, especially in the back with those new drums. Those new drums will set in and your brake pads expand more. So it didn't take much. They weren't that far out of adjustment, but I did adjust them and got them bled. So now I just need to put, I was going to put that, if you heard me earlier in the video, man, my headliner's starting to look a little, this is just reflection. Back there is still really wrinkly. I thought those would come out now. You heard me talk about the steering dampener. I have a new steering dampener. Turns out it's not for my car. It's for the wife's 71 Super, I believe. I don't know. I found it in the stuff that the father-in-law had. So it's different than what I've got, so I'm not going to worry about putting it on there. I don't drive this car enough to worry about that steering dampener. I don't get the death wobble. I don't go fast enough to get the death wobble. So I'm going to work on, you guys saw me take the fuel tank out, so I'm going to go ahead and work on getting that back in. I had that one little leaky hose I got to deal with. We get that back in, get this thing buttoned up. I might go wash it tonight and put another coat of shine juice on it so I can go to this car show this weekend. So I'm gonna go deal with this gas tank. It is still hot. Man, I am, my shirt is like wet, soaking wet. And plus concrete, let me tell you, concrete is hot, especially when you're laying on it and your shirt kind of goes up a little bit and it gets you around the waist. It's hot. Let's get this done so we can go inside and cool off. Well, verdict's in. Those are the best brake. Why is this light freaking out on me? I need to upgrade LEDs. If any of you guys out there part of an LED company, hit me up. I need some LEDs. Anyway, verdict's in. Best brakes I've ever had on that car. Works really good. They stop good. It's no longer pulling to one side or the other. It's good. Went on probably a 20-30 minute cruise. Went to the car wash, sprayed it off. And I've got, that's weird. I don't like that. I've got smoke. I don't know if you guys can see that. I know what it is. My valve covers are leaking and they're leaking down onto my exhaust. Yeah, that's just all it is. That scared me. Yeah, so this car, valve covers never leaked. I pulled the engine out, adjusted the valves, put brand new valve cover gaskets, and now both of them leak. I don't know. I've even taken them off, readjusted them, tried to get them on there right. And they're the good, genuine ones that I got from the local VW guy. Has a VW shop. So I don't know, I'm doing something wrong. I'm gonna have to research that. But anyway, took it on like a 30-minute drive. Ran great. Stops really good. Stereo still sounds good. Had to turn it down a couple of times, you know, passing by the old coppers. It's been many years since I had to deal with getting a stereo ticket. I don't want to start now. I'm too old for that crap. So I'm gonna throw on a coat of shine juice. That way it can bake on there tomorrow in the sun and get it ready for the car show on Saturday. So you guys heard me talk about the shine juice before in the past. It's 1-to-1. Yeah, 1-to-1 mineral spirits. No, it's not. I'm glad I thought of that because I about just royally screwed up. It is 1-to-1 acetone and boiled linseed oil. That's what it is. So you guys heard me do that, talk about that before. Yeah, that's more like it. So I'm gonna put a coat on that on. It leaves it sticky. I know everybody's gonna say it's gonna get sticky. I know it does. I don't really care for it. I like the way it looks. Eventually, if I can do something with the passenger door that's all dinged up, If I can find another one that's that color, or I might just scuff this up and clear coat it. I don't know. I don't really want to do a paint job. I like the patina look. But I'm going to throw some of this on there, and we'll see what it looks like. Sun's starting to go down, so it's starting to cool off now. I know you guys are probably getting dizzy, me walking in circles. I got to get to work. I'm hot, sweaty, nasty. I'm ready to go in. Let me get this done. Well, there she is, all shine juiced up. Brings out the paint a little bit, but also brings out all the imperfections, which is great because I love the patina look. Not much hope for that old hood. I believe this car caught on fire at one time. I might, if I get time tomorrow evening after work, jump under there and try to fix those valve cover gaskets again. I don't know. But there she is. Alright, so like I said, I might try to fix those valve cover gaskets tomorrow evening, maybe Saturday morning. But we got the car show Saturday evening. So Saturday during the day, I'll clean up the glass, vacuum it out, get it ready to go, and we'll go hang out with some car people Saturday evening. I'll bring you guys along, so you'll be seeing that right now. For me, it's still a day and a half away. All right, guys, we made it to the car show. Pretty good turnout. Nice little car show they're doing here. It's benefiting a coach that's going through cancer right now, so all proceeds go to his family. So, you know, those big car shows are fun and all, but get out and support these little ones that actually support causes. So let's take a little walk around. There she is, guys. Stink bug. Only bug here, but still not planning on taking anything. Like I said, it's mostly for a good cause. right, guys, so there it is. Had a pretty good show, pretty good turnout. You know, like I said, this isn't a big show. This is a small show that's gonna benefit a family that really needs it right now. So like I said before, man, I encourage you to find those little benefit car shows. I believe those are the best. I know I'm not gonna take anything. I haven't taken anything in the last, this is my third one, but I don't care because I know that all entries and everything are going to a good cause. So we'll get this video together, get it put out for you guys. I'm not sure what we're gonna do on the next one. I've got a handful of projects still coming up. We need to get started on the boys truck. We need to get that square body put back together, the suspension, so I can get it over to the house, start figuring out what engine. You guys help me out right now. I'm a little torn. I've got a 350 4-bolt for it, but being that it's gonna be my boy's first truck, I'm thinking of putting an LS. Nothing big, just a 5.3, but just for the reliability, you know, the fuel injection, get in, turn it on, you know. So, all right, well, I'm gonna go hang out with some like-minded people. I love hanging out with car people, and have a good time, and then we'll start on another project. So until next time, we'll be seeing you guys.